How do you play an open A major chord on guitar?
Place your index finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 4th string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd string, and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the B, 2nd string. Strum from the A, 5th string down, muting or skipping the low E string. All 3 fingers line up on the 2nd fret.
How do you play an open A minor, AM, chord?
Place your index finger on the 1st fret of the B, 2nd string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 4th string, and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd string. Strum from the A, 5th string down. It differs from a major by only one note, the C on the B string.
How do you play an open C major chord?
Place your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A, 5th string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 4th string, and index finger on the 1st fret of the B, 2nd string. Strum from the A string down, avoiding the low E string. The open G and high E strings ring out.
How do you play an open D major chord?
Place your index finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B, 2nd string, and middle finger on the 2nd fret of the high E, 1st string. Strum only the top 4 strings, D, G, B, and high E. The open D string serves as the root note.
How do you play an open D minor, DM, chord?
Place your index finger on the 1st fret of the high E, 1st string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B, 2nd string. Strum the top 4 strings only. It differs from D major by the flattened F note on the high E string.
How do you play an open E major chord?
Place your index finger on the 1st fret of the G, 3rd string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 5th string, and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 4th string. Strum all 6 strings. This is one of the most resonant open chords on the guitar.
How do you play an open E minor, M, chord?
Place your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 5th string and your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 4th string. All other strings are played open. It is one of the easiest guitar chords, requiring only 2 fingers.
How do you play an open F major chord, simplified?
The simplified open F uses the index finger on the 1st fret of the B, 2nd string and the 1st fret of the high E, 1st string, a minibar, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D, 4th string. Strum the top 4 strings only. The full F bar chord is more common in intermediate playing.
How do you play an open G major chord?
Place your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, 6th string, index finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 5th string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high E, 1st string. Strum all 6 strings. Some players also add the pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string.
How do you play an A7 chord in open position?
Place your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 4th string and your index finger on the 2nd fret of the B, 2nd string, leaving the G, 3rd string open. Strum from the A, 5th string down. The open G string provides the minor 7th G note that gives it the dominant 7th quality.
How do you play a D7 chord in open position?
Place your index finger on the 1st fret of the B, 2nd string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd string, and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the high E, 1st string. Strum the top 4 strings. The note C on the 1st fret of the B string is the 7 that makes it a dominant 7th chord.
How do you play an E7 chord in open position?
Place your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 5th string and your index finger on the 1st fret of the G, 3rd string. Strum all 6 strings. It is essentially an E major chord with the ring finger lifted off the D string, allowing the open D note, the 7, to ring.
How do you play a G7 chord in open position?
Place your index finger on the 1st fret of the high E, 1st string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 5th string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, 6th string. Strum all 6 strings. The F note on the 1st fret of the high E string provides the dominant 7th.
How do you play AB7 chord in open position?
Place your index finger on the 1st fret of the D, 4th string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 5th string, ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd string, and pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E, 1st string. Strum from the A string down. This is one of the more complex open position chords.
What is a bar chord?
A bar chord is formed by pressing one finger, usually the index, flat across all or several strings at a single fret, effectively creating a movable nut. The remaining fingers then form a chord shape behind the bar. Bar chords are movable. The same shape produces different chords depending on the fret position.
How do you play an E-shaped bar chord?
Lay your index finger flat across all 6 strings at the desired fret, then form an E major shape with your remaining fingers behind the bar. For example, barring the 3rd fret with an E shape produces a G major chord. The root note is on the low E, 6th string under your index finger.
How do you play an A-shaped bar chord?
Bar all strings at the desired fret with your index finger, then form an A major shape with your remaining fingers on the higher fret. The root note is on the A, 5th string. For instance, barring the 3rd fret with an A shape gives you a C major chord.
What is the root note of an E-shaped bar chord, and how do you identify the chord name?
The root note is on the low E, 6th string at the fret where the bar is placed. To name the chord, identify the note on the 6th string at that fret. For example, a bar at the 5th fret has its root on A, making it an A major, or a minor, depending on the shape.
What is the root note of an A-shaped bar chord?
The root note is on the A, 5th string at the barred fret. Name the chord by identifying the note on the 5th string at that fret. For example, barring the 5th fret with an A shape produces a D chord, because the 5th fret of the A string is D.
How do you play a minor bar chord using the E shape?
Bar all 6 strings at the target fret with your index finger, then form an E minor shape behind the bar. Place your ring finger on the A string and pinky on the D string, each 2 frets above the bar. For example, barring the 1st fret gives you F minor.
How do you convert an E-shaped major bar chord to a dominant 7th bar chord?
From the E-shaped major bar chord, lift your pinky off the D, 4th string. This opens up the 7 interval on that string. For example, an E-shaped bar at the 5th fret without the pinky on the D string produces a 7.
What are some tips for cleanly fretting bar chords?
Place your index finger close to the fret wire, not on top of it, for minimal effort. Use the bony side edge of your finger rather than the soft pad. Keep your thumb centered on the back of the neck for leverage, and make sure your wrist is relaxed and slightly forward.
What is a power chord?
A power chord, also called a 5 chord, consists of only the root and the 5th, no 3rd is present. Because it lacks a 3rd, it is neither major nor minor, giving it a neutral, heavy sound. Power chords are written as, for example, A5, E5, or G5.
How do you play a 2-note power chord on the low E string?
Place your index finger on the desired fret of the low E, 6th string for the root, and your ring finger 2 frets higher on the A, 5th string for the 5th. Mute or avoid all other strings. For example, index on the 5th fret, A, and ring on the 7th fret gives you an A5 power chord.
How do you play a 3-note power chord?
Add the octave of the root to the 2-note power chord. Place your index on the root, e.g., 6th string, ring finger 2 frets up on the 5th string, and pinky 2 frets up on the 4th string, same fret as the ring finger. This thickens the sound without adding a major or minor quality.
Why are power chords so popular in rock and punk music?
Power chords work extremely well with distortion because they contain no 3rd, the interval that causes dissonance when distorted. Their simple 2- or 3-note voicing cuts through a loud mix cleanly. They are also easy to move quickly up and down the neck, suiting fast punk progressions.
Can power chords be played on any string pair?
Yes, power chords can be played on adjacent string pairs such as the 6th and 5th, 5th and 4th, or 4th and 3rd strings with the same 2-fret spacing. However, between the G 3rd and B 2nd strings the interval changes due to guitar tuning, so the 5th must be placed 3 frets up instead of 2.
How are strings numbered on a guitar chord diagram?
On a standard chord diagram, the thinnest string, high E, is string 1, shown on the far right, and the thickest string, low E, is string 6, shown on the far left. Vertical lines represent strings and horizontal lines represent frets.
What do the X and O symbols above a chord diagram mean?
An X above a string means that string should not be played, muted or skipped. An O means the string is played open, unfretted. These symbols appear at the top of the diagram above the nut line.
How are frets numbered on a chord diagram?
Frets are numbered starting from the nut, top of the neck. The space between the nut and the first metal fret wire is the first fret. Fret numbers increase as you move toward the body. On diagrams, the topmost horizontal line usually represents the nut unless a fret number is indicated.
What do black dots on a chord diagram represent?
Black dots indicate where you should place your fingertips on the fretboard. They are positioned in the space between fret wires. Numbers inside or below the dots often indicate which finger to use. 1 equals index, 2 equals middle, 3 equals ring, 4 equals pinky.
What does a curved line across multiple strings on a chord diagram indicate?
A curved line, or thick bar, spanning several strings represents a bar. You press one finger flat across all those strings at that fret. It is most commonly seen on bar chord diagrams where the index finger covers multiple strings simultaneously.
What is a basic all-downstroke strumming pattern?
The simplest pattern is strumming down on every beat, 1-2-3-4, in steady quarter notes. This is common in punk rock and beginner playing. Keep your wrist relaxed and strum through the strings with a smooth, even motion.
Describe a basic down-up strumming pattern in 4/4 time.
Strum down on the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up on the ends, and, between beats, yielding eighth notes, du 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 du. Keep your arm moving in a constant pendulum motion even when skipping certain strums. This is the foundation for most strumming patterns.
What is the common island or reggae strumming pattern?
The island strum pattern in 4/4 is D, du, u, du, down, down, up, down, up. It creates a laid-back, syncopated feel popular in reggae and acoustic pop songs. The emphasis falls on the offbeats, giving it a bouncy rhythm.
What is a folk/country boomchuck strumming pattern?
In a boomchuck pattern, you play the bass note, root, of the chord on beats 1 and 3, boom, with your thumb, and strum the upper strings on beats 2 and 4, chuck. This alternating bass strum technique is a staple of folk, country, and bluegrass rhythm guitar.
How does a 16th note strumming pattern differ from an 8th note pattern?
A 16th note pattern divides each beat into 4 subdivisions, 1 E' and A, rather than 2. The arm moves twice as fast, and specific strums within each group of 4 are muted or skipped to create syncopation. This creates busier, funkier rhythms common in R&B and pop.
What does it mean to accent certain strums in a pattern?
Accenting means strumming certain beats harder or with more emphasis than others, creating a dynamic groove. For example, in a standard 4/4 pattern, accenting beats 2 and 4 creates a backbeat feel. Accents bring life and style to otherwise mechanical strumming.
What is the common strumming pattern DDUUDU?
This is one of the most popular strumming patterns, down, down, up, down, up. In count terms, it hits on 1, 2, 2 and 3 and 4, 4 and. It appears in countless acoustic pop and folk songs and provides a flowing, rhythmic feel.
What is a shuffle or swing strumming feel?
In a shuffle feel, each pair of eighth notes is played with a long short swing rather than even spacing, approximating a triplet feel, da-dum, da-dum. This is essential for blues, jazz, and some rock styles. It's sometimes notated with a swing indication at the top of the music.
What is Travis picking?
Travis picking is a finger-picking technique where the thumb alternates between two bass strings, usually the root and fifth of the chord, on steady beats while the fingers pluck melody notes on the higher strings between the thumb beats. It was popularized by Merle Travis and is foundational to country and folk fingerstyle guitar.
What do the letters PIMA represent in fingerpicking?
They come from Spanish: P equals pulgar, thumb, I equals index, M equals medio, middle, A equals annular, ring finger. Each finger is assigned to specific strings. P handles the bass strings, fourth, fifth, sixth, I the third string, M the second string, and the first string.
Describe a basic arpeggiated fingerpicking pattern for a chord.
A common beginner arpeggio pattern is PMAMI, thumb plucks the bass note, then index, middle, and ring fingers pluck strings 3, 2, and 1 in sequence, then reverse back down MI. This creates a flowing, harp-like sound and works over any chord.
What is the difference between fingerpicking and flat picking?
Fingerpicking uses individual fingers and thumb to pluck strings independently, allowing multiple simultaneous voices. Flat picking uses a pick, plectrum, to strike strings, producing a brighter, louder tone suited to single-note lines and strumming. Many players learn both techniques.
How should the picking hand be positioned for fingerpicking?
Rest your thumb on a bass string and let your fingers curl naturally toward the treble strings. Your wrist should be slightly arched and relaxed, with your forearm resting on the upper bout of the guitar. Pluck the strings with the tips or nails of your fingers in a smooth, upward motion.
What is a common fingerpicking pattern for 3/4 time?
A popular waltz time pattern is PIM, PIM. The thumb hits the bass note on beat 1, index plucks on beat 2, and middle plucks on beat 3, then repeat. This simple pattern works beautifully for folk ballads and classical pieces in 3/4 time.
What is standard tuning on a guitar?
Standard tuning from the thickest, sixth, to thinnest, first, string is EADGBE. A common mnemonic is Eddie 8 Dynamite Goodbye Eddie. The interval between most adjacent strings is a perfect fourth, except between G and B, which is a major third.
What is drop D tuning and how do you achieve it?
Drop D tuning lowers the sixth string from E down to D, giving the tuning DADGBE. Simply tune your low E string down until it matches the D, fourth, string 1 octave lower. It allows easy power chords on the bottom 3 strings with a single finger bar and is popular in rock and metal.
What is open G tuning?
Open G tuning is DGDGBD. You lower the 6th, 5th, and 1st strings. Strumming all open strings produces a G major chord. It is famously used by Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones and is essential for slide guitar in blues and folk.
What is dadgad tuning?
Dadgad tuning tunes the strings to DADGAD. It produces a DSU's 4 chord when strummed open, giving a rich, modal, Celtic sound. It is widely used in Celtic, folk, and world music. Pierre Bensusan and Jimmy Page have used this tuning extensively.
What is open D tuning?
Open D tuning is DADFAD. Strumming all open strings produces a D major chord. It is popular for slide guitar and folk fingerstyle. To achieve it from standard, lower strings 1, 2, 3, and 6 ED, BA, GF, high ED.
How can you quickly check if your guitar is in tune using the 5th fret method?
Fret the 6th string at the 5th fret, it should match the open 5th string, A. Repeat for each adjacent string pair at the 5th fret, except between the G and B strings, where you use the 4th fret of the G string to match the open B. This method uses unison pitches to tune string by string.
What is a chromatic tuner and why is it useful for guitarists?
A chromatic tuner detects the pitch of any note and displays how sharp or flat it is. Unlike guitar-only tuners, it recognizes all 12 chromatic notes, making it essential for alternate tunings. Clip-on chromatic tuners sense vibrations directly from the headstock and work well in noisy environments.
What are the open string note names from the 6th to the 1st string in standard tuning?
From thickest to thinnest, E, 6th, A, 5th, D, 4th, G, 3rd, B, 2nd, E, 1st. The 6th and 1st strings are both E notes, 2 octaves apart. This knowledge is fundamental for identifying chord roots and navigating the fretboard.
What note is on the 5th fret of the low E, 6th string?
The 5th fret of the low E string is A. Each fret represents 1/2 step, semitone, so counting up from the open E, F, 1st fret, F, 2nd, G, 3rd, G, 4th, A, 5th. This is also why the 5th fret of the 6th string matches the open 5th string in standard tuning.
What are all the natural notes on the low E, 6th string from the open string to the 12th fret?
Open equals E, 1st fret equals F, 3rd fret equals G, 5th fret equals A, 7th fret equals B, 8th fret equals C, 10th fret equals D, 12th fret equals E, octave. Notice there is no sharp/flat between EF and BC. These natural half steps are important to memorize.
How do octave shapes help you find notes on the fretboard?
If you know a note on the 6th string, the same note 1 octave higher is found 2 strings over and 2 frets up, on the 4th string. Similarly, a note on the 5th string has its octave 2 strings over and 2 frets up on the 3rd string. These shapes let you quickly locate the same note in different positions.
What notes are on the A, 5th string at frets 0, 3, 5, 7, and 12?
Open equals A, 3rd fret equals C, 5th fret equals D, 7th fret equals E, 12th fret equals A, octave. Memorizing these landmark frets on the 5th string helps you quickly name A-shape bar chords and find root notes.
Why does the 12th fret produce the same note as the open string?
The 12th fret is the exact midpoint of the vibrating string length, which produces a note 1 octave higher than the open string. This is true for every string. The 12th fret is usually marked with double dots on the fretboard as a visual reference.
What are the notes at the 5th, 7th, and 12th frets of the G, 3rd string?
5th fret equals C, 7th fret equals D, 12th fret equals G, octave. Knowing these landmark frets on the G string helps with chord construction and soloing. The G string is especially important because it sits at the boundary between bass and treble strings.
What is a capo and what does it do?
A capo is a clamp placed across the guitar neck at a specific fret to raise the pitch of all strings uniformly. It effectively shortens the vibrating string length, transposing the guitar to a higher key while allowing you to use familiar open chord shapes. It is an essential tool for singers who need to change keys easily.
How does a capo transpose chord shapes?
When you place a capo on a fret, the open chord shapes you play sound in a higher key. For example, with a capo on the 2nd fret, playing a G shape sounds as an A chord, a C shape sounds as D, and a D shape sounds as E. Each fret raises the pitch by 1/2 step.
If you place a capo on the 3rd fret and play a G-C-D progression, what chords actually sound?
With the capo on the 3rd fret, 3/2 steps up, a G shape sounds as B, a C shape sounds as E, and a D shape sounds as F. The progression actually sounds as B-E-F, which is a I-I-V-V in the key of B major.
What are common capo positions for playing in the key of A using G-shape chords?
Place the capo on the 2nd fret. Then play G, C, and D shapes, which will sound as A, D, and E respectively. This is popular because G-family open chords have a rich, ringing quality that is more pleasing than their A-family bar chord equivalents.
When would a guitarist choose to use a capo instead of bar chords?
A capo is preferred when you want the bright, resonant sound of open strings ringing out, which bar chords cannot provide. It is also easier for beginners who haven't mastered bar chords yet. Additionally, using a capo lets you quickly change keys between songs during a live performance.
What is the GCD chord progression and why is it important?
GCD is a IVV progression in the key of G major. It is one of the most common progressions in pop, rock, country, and folk music. Countless songs use this three-chord formula, making it one of the first progressions beginners should learn.
What is the AMFCG progression?
AMFCG is a 6/4 IV progression in the key of C major. It is sometimes called the pop-punk or sensitive progression and appears in hundreds of hit songs across genres. Its emotional, slightly melancholic quality comes from starting on the minor 6th chord.
What is a I4VI progression in the key of E major?
In E major, the I4VI progression is EABE. These chords use the open E and A shapes, with B often played as a bar chord at the 2nd fret. This progression is extremely common in rock, blues, and country music.
Describe a 12-bar blues progression in the key of E.
The 12-bar blues in E follows E, A, B7, A, B7, each symbol equals 1 bar. It uses only 3 chords, I, 4, V7, and is the foundation of blues, early rock and roll, and jazz. The turnaround in bar 12, B7, leads back to the top.
Describe a 12-bar blues progression in the key of A.
The 12-bar blues in A is A, D, E7, D, E7. It follows the same IIVV structure as all 12-bar blues. Playing it in A is popular because A, D, and E7 are all comfortable open chords, making it very accessible for beginners.
What is a IIVI progression and how is it played in the key of C?
The IIVI in C major is DMGC. It is the most important progression in jazz and appears frequently in pop standards. The 2 chord creates smooth voice leading to the V, which resolves naturally to the I chord.
What is the IV6/4 progression and what songs use it?
The IV6/4 progression, e.g., GDMC in the key of G, is one of the most used progressions in modern pop music. Songs like Let It Be, No Woman No Cry, and With or Without You use variants of it. Its appeal lies in its satisfying blend of major brightness and minor emotion.
What is a hammer-on?
A hammer-on is a technique where you pluck a note and then slam another finger down onto a higher fret on the same string without picking again. The force of the fretting finger produces the 2nd note. It creates a smooth, legato sound and is notated with a curved slur line in standard notation or an H in tablature.
What is a pull-off?
A pull-off is the reverse of a hammer-on. You fret 2 notes, pluck the string, then pull the higher finger off, with a slight sideways plucking motion, to sound the lower note. It produces a descending legato sound. The pulling motion is key, simply lifting the finger won't produce enough volume.
How do you perform a slide on guitar?
Fret a note, pick it, then slide your finger along the string to a higher or lower fret while maintaining pressure. The pitch changes continuously and smoothly. Slides can go up or down and are notated with a diagonal line between 2 fret numbers in tablature.
What is a string bend and how is it performed?
A bend is performed by fretting a note, picking it, then pushing the string sideways, usually upward toward the ceiling, to raise its pitch. A full bend raises the pitch by a whole step, 2 frets. Use multiple fingers behind the bending finger for strength and control.
What is the difference between a half-step bend and a full bend?
A half-step bend raises the pitch by 1 fret, 1 semitone, while a full bend raises it by 2 frets, 1 whole tone. You can verify your target pitch by fretting the note at the destination fret and matching it to your bend. Half-step bends create a bluesy, vocal quality.
What is vibrato on guitar?
Vibrato is a rapid, subtle oscillation of pitch achieved by repeatedly bending and releasing a fretted note slightly. It adds warmth, sustain, and expressiveness to sustained notes. Good vibrato is even and controlled. It is often considered a hallmark of an experienced guitarist.
What is palm muting?
Palm muting involves resting the edge of your picking hand's palm lightly on the strings near the bridge while strumming or picking. This dampens the strings, producing a percussive, chunky chug sound. It is essential in rock, metal, and punk rhythm guitar. The amount of muting varies with palm pressure and position.
What are natural harmonics on guitar?
Natural harmonics are bell-like tones produced by lightly touching, not pressing, a string directly above certain fret wires, most commonly the 12th, 7th, and 5th frets, and then picking. The finger is immediately lifted after picking. These frets correspond to the string's natural node points, producing overtones.
What is a pinch harmonic, artificial harmonic?
A pinch harmonic is produced by gripping the pick so that your thumb slightly touches the string immediately after picking it. This contact creates a node that produces a high-pitched squealing harmonic. The technique is common in rock and metal and works best with a distorted amp tone.
How do you perform a bend and release?
Pick the note, bend up to the target pitch, hold briefly, then return the string to its original position smoothly. This creates a characteristic cry effect. The release should be controlled and at a consistent speed, not just dropped suddenly.
What is a pre-bend?
A pre-bend involves bending the string before picking it, then picking the bent note and optionally releasing it down to the unbent pitch. This creates the illusion of a note appearing out of nowhere and descending. It is a common technique in blues and rock lead guitar.
What are legato runs?
Legato runs are sequences of notes played primarily with hammer-ons and pull-offs rather than individual pick strokes. This creates a fluid, smooth, and fast-sounding passage. Guitarists like Joe Satriani and Alan Holdsworth are known for their extensive use of legato technique.
What are the main parts of an acoustic guitar?
The main parts include the headstock, tuning machines, neck, fretboard/fingerboard with frets, and body, top/soundboard with sound hole, back, and sides. Other parts include the nut, at the top of the fretboard, bridge, saddle, bridge pins, and the rosette around the sound hole.
What is the purpose of the nut on a guitar?
The nut is a small piece of bone, plastic, or synthetic material at the top of the fretboard where the neck meets the headstock. It has grooves that space the strings evenly and sets the string height, action, at the first fret. It also defines one end of the vibrating string length.
What is the bridge on a guitar and what does it do?
The bridge is mounted on the guitar's body, top, and anchors the strings at the body end. On acoustics, it transfers string vibrations to the soundboard, amplifying the sound. It also determines string spacing and, together with the nut, sets the guitar's scale length and intonation.
What are the names of the 6 guitar strings from thickest to thinnest?
From thickest to thinnest, 6th string, low E, 5th, A, 4th, D, 3rd, G, 2nd, B, 1st, high E. The 6th string is closest to you when playing, and the 1st is closest to the floor. The lower pitched strings are wound, wrapped with wire, while the higher strings are plain steel.
What is the difference between a guitar's neck and fretboard?
The neck is the entire long piece of wood extending from the body to the headstock. The fretboard, or fingerboard, is a thin, flat piece of wood, often rosewood or maple, glued to the front of the neck where you press the strings. Metal fret wires are embedded in the fretboard.
What are single coil and humbucker pickups?
Single coil pickups have one coil of wire around magnets and produce a bright, clear, twangy tone but are susceptible to electrical hum. Humbuckers use 2 coils wired in opposite polarity to cancel, buck, the hum, producing a warmer, thicker, higher output sound. Most electric guitars use one or both types.
What is a pickup selector switch on an electric guitar?
The pickup selector switch lets you choose which pickups are active. A typical three-way switch selects the neck pickup, warm tone, bridge pickup, bright/cutting tone, or both combined, balanced tone. Guitars with five-way switches, like Stratocasters, offer additional in-between positions for more tonal variety.
What is the purpose of the truss rod inside a guitar neck?
The truss rod is an adjustable metal rod inside the neck that counteracts the tension of the strings pulling the neck into a bow. By tightening or loosening it, a luthier or guitarist can adjust the neck's curvature, relief, to set proper string action and playability. Improper adjustment can damage the neck.
What is a chord family or key family?
A chord family is the set of chords that naturally occur in a given key. For example, the key of G major has the chord family G, AM, BM, C, D, M, F dim, I, 2, 3, 4, V, 6, 7 degree. Songs in a key typically use chords from that key's family, making it easier to predict chord changes.
What chords belong to the key of C major chord family?
The chords are C, I, D, M, 2, M, 3, F, 4, G, V, AM, 6, dim, 7 degree. Major chords fall on the I, 4, and V degrees, minor chords on 2, 3, and 6, and a diminished chord on 7 degree. This pattern of chord qualities is the same for every major key.
What chords belong to the key of D major chord family?
The chords are D, I, M, 2, FM, 3, G, 4, A, V, BM, 6, C dim, 7 degree. D, G, and A are the most commonly used chords from this family. Many popular songs in the key of D use just these three major chords plus possibly BM.
What is Nashville number system tuning?
Nashville tuning, also called high-strung guitar, replaces the four lowest strings, E, A, D, G, with lighter gauge strings tuned one octave higher than normal, while the B and high E remain the same. This creates a bright, shimmery, 12-string-like quality and is often layered with a standard guitar in recordings.
How do you read guitar tablature, tab?
Guitar tablature uses 6 horizontal lines representing the 6 strings, with the thinnest string, high E, on top and the thickest, low E, on the bottom. Numbers on the lines indicate which fret to play, 0 means open string. Numbers stacked vertically are played simultaneously, as a chord. Tab is read left to right.
What do the letters H, P, B, and / mean in guitar tablature?
H equals hammer on, P equals pull off, B equals bend, / equals slide up, / equals slide down. For example, 5H7 means play the 5th fret then hammer on to the 7th, 7B9 means fret the 7th fret and bend up to the pitch of the 9th fret.
What is the difference between chords and scales?
Chords are groups of notes played simultaneously to create harmony, while scales are sequences of notes played one at a time in ascending or descending order. Chords are built from scales, for example, a C major chord, CEG, uses the 1st, 3rd, and 5th notes of the C major scale.
What is alternate picking?
Alternate picking is a technique where you strictly alternate between downstrokes and upstrokes with the pick for every successive note. This is more efficient than all downstroke picking for fast passages. Maintaining a consistent down-up motion regardless of string changes is key to building speed.